Hello, this is Dan Collins coming to you live once again from Traders Expo Chicago. With me is Todd Horwitz from BubbaTrading.com. We've been talking about certain markets, and so often people concentrate on equities and the financials, but in the spring of 2019 in the Midwest we had so much rain. We didn't know if there would be any crops in the ground because we had so much rain. Now we're getting a heat wave, so that brings some really interesting trade in the grain markets.
Well, I think the grains have really, again, I do a lot of stuff on RFD, and we actually thought when corn was at 341 that it was like the screaming buy of a lifetime. But I think what you really want to look at here now is the way that it's been able to rally and hold, and it continues to hold every support level. And I think, as you know from trading, every support level is important, and it really looks to me that if we ever see an equity sell-off and we start to see some of this new money from outside sources start to flow into the grain markets, I think you're talking about the potential, Dan, this year of a potential big market. Now, we haven't seen a big market for years because we've been so oversupplied. Everybody's focusing on China and the tariffs. It has nothing to do with the price. The reason that we have prices were so low for a while is we've been oversupplied. We've had 5 banner years back to back.
Okay, and you also mentioned you're looking at cattle and lean hogs, and you mentioned China. Trade, that's another has a big impact on these markets.
It has an impact, but I don't think it's as big as everybody makes out to be. I'm really a pure price guy, right? Price drives price, in my opinion. So when I look at it, I saw, because if you remember, hogs were up over 100 and they came all the way back into the 70s. But I think if you watch the price action in cattle right now, live and feeder cattle, they both found some bottoms, are making some higher lows, and they're starting to look really strong. And again, with some of the consumer confidence, I think you're looking at much higher prices in cattle as well. Hogs are still a little tenuous. They need a little bit more work to do, but I'm certainly looking to be a buyer of cattle, live and feeders both.
Yeah. Well, we know that a lot of the stock of hogs were destroyed. So there's a lot of different factors that could impact, that make these markets very interesting, more interesting than they've been in some years.
Yeah, they can be interesting, but again, I find it very hard to worry about news when it comes to that. I think, in hogs, the gestation period is so fast. It's not like you got to wait 9 months to have a baby. I mean, they're popping them out almost on a regular basis. So they've already recovered all the hogs that were gone from the African swine flu. I think the biggest key here to watch, again, really comes down to price action. And I think that's the hardest thing for anybody to understand, but it really is price drives price.
So you're focusing on price, and maybe some of these other factors could be a way that you can get the other side.
100%. Again, look, we were big sellers of hogs when they spiked on the news of the African swine flu. When they went over 100 the first time, I was a seller because, again, that was what we call a blow-off pattern in the business, which you could see it was panic, either trapping shorts or people trying to chase them up to the upside. So once again, price showed us that it really would struggle going much higher from there.
Okay, so when people panicked on that's an additional opportunity in these markets as well.
100%. Listen, there's an old saying, as a floor trader from 1980, okay, if you can see their tonsils, give them whatever they want, because they're wrong.
All right, Todd.
Dan, thank you.
Thanks a lot. This has been Dan Collins coming to you live from Traders Expo Chicago with Todd Bubba Horwitz.